If you're someone who feels music very deeply and the emotional power of music very deeply, this music is so powerful and can in fact be so overwhelming that it actually makes it quite hard for you to do your job, i.e. perform and sing. Ariadne auf Naxos is a curious opera because it's metaphysical, it's a play within a play, it's about performance and rehearsal and the creative process in itself. So it's a bit of an inside joke, particularly the prologue, the first half, which is really about the conception of a piece of art. Most of the humour comes in the first half, and the result of that is that the payoff in terms of the music and the romanticism and the passion comes, I would say this, wouldn't I, when I enter, at which point the music sort of takes off into a different stratosphere and time almost stands still while you have this amazing over-the-top romantic duet between the soprano and the tenor, which you've sort of been waiting for the whole time. Bacchus is a funny role because it has this reputation for being incredibly taxing and requiring incredible stamina. And in a sense that's true, but actually compared to a lot of the other roles I do, it's very short. Really, all the singing in the whole role comes in the last 25 minutes of the piece. Now, admittedly, the singing you have to do at that point is very extreme, both in volume and in tessitura or range, and in emotion as well, i.e. trying not to get swept up too much in the music. I spend a lot of time with the music of Strauss. He's one of my favourite opera composers. I'm fascinated by this extraordinary period in history at the very end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, where there is a sort of crossover between romanticism and these sort of formal structures of opera and modernism and expressionism and avant-garde composition and theatre. And Strauss, almost more than any other composer, is right at the crux of that period. And you can hear the influences of Italian opera and of Wagner, but at the same time he's taking the musical language in a completely new direction, which sounds almost in some cases like film music. And of course we know that many of the great film composers borrowed lots of their ideas, particularly from composers like Strauss and Wagner and Puccini. I think this production will be my 6th production of Ariadne, but I've never done it in a new production. So this will be the first time I've done the piece with a lengthy rehearsal period with the original director in the room. So I'm particularly looking forward to it from that point of view, to working with Laurent and with Robin over several weeks, and working with a director like him who's so animated all the time is incredibly inspiring because the energy that he brings into the rehearsal room is just contagious.